What is a market structure? It is the selling environment in which a firm produces and sells its product. It is defined by three characteristics. 1. The number of firms in the market. 2. The seas of entry and exit of firms. And 3. The degree of product differentiation. So there are 4 types, which is perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. Perfect competition with an infinity number of firms and monopoly with a single firm are polar opposites, while monopolistic competition and oligopoly lie between these two extremes. As you can see in the table below, monopoly has the highest concentration, while perfect competition has the lowest concentration. And like I mentioned earlier, monopolistic competition and oligopoly lie between these two.
As its name suggests, monopolistic competition is a combination of monopoly and perfect competition. However, monopolistic competition is more closely related to perfect competition than to monopoly. In monopolistic competition, there are a huge number of firms. Thus, each of them has a small market share. Each producer has limited ability to set its product's price. Therefore, firms have to rely on advertising to create customer impression of brand value. Here, we come to the importance of product differentiation in monopolistic competition. Firms depend heavily on innovating products and advertising to shape brand image and build up customer loyalty. It is crucial to make a product stand out in an ocean of competitors that produce similar commodities. Let us take a look at a successful example of a wine brand in Canada. Ridge Road was a new brand entering Canadian winery market in 2009. With over 350 wineries in Canadian market, it was a difficult battle for the new brand to rise to prominence. In order to distinguish themselves in a crowded market, the founders of Ridge Road Estate Winery decided to experiment with less-known wine varieties. According to the owner, he did not want to take the traditional approach of producing only what the consumers want. Instead, he wanted to play the role of introducing unique wines to customers. He identified some very unusual wine varieties. Those wines eventually sell well in the market. The winery also has a different design for its tasting room. The room is designed for customers to sit at bistro tables, unlike other wineries that require customers to queue up for sampling. This creates a friendly and cozy atmosphere that will enhance the customer experience. To make purchasing easy, Ridge Road provides online sales service. Social media advertising is also used to reach more potential consumers. A second example of coffee chains will illustrate the concept better. Coffee chains are springing up like mushrooms in the past few decades. The coffee beans used is Arabica, which we can easily buy in a grocery store. What makes a certain coffee chain special is product differentiation. We are going to compare Starbucks and Old Town White Coffee. Coffee never tastes the same again when roasted differently. Starbucks roasts the beans slightly more than other brands, making the coffee taste stronger. Old Town roasts the beans with palm oil margarine that gives a unique aroma and smooth texture. In advertising, Starbucks concentrates on highlighting individual personality. It allows a greater extent of participation by consumers. You can have your own name written on your cup of coffee. Customers can also bring their coffee recipes and request the barista to brew it for them. The slogan, "It's not just coffee, it's Starbucks," creates the impression that Starbucks produces coffee with finer quality. Now, Starbucks has become a lifestyle. Its logo brings the connotation of being stylish and wealthy. On the other hand, Old Town is a new Malaysian brand that shot to fame 5 years ago. Its concept and design imitate the antique feeling of Ipoh Kopitiam in the 1950s. It promises to deliver the authentic taste of Old Ipoh's best coffee. Aside from being really tasty, the brand attracts Malaysians to try it because of sentimental value. Old Town is the first coffee chain to have its own instant coffee packaging for the convenience of customers and for promoting the coffee across different regions. Product differentiation has shown us the targeted consumer groups of different brands. Starbucks' main customers are largely middle-aged working population, younger generation, and fussy coffee lovers. Old Town appeals more to Malaysians, other Southeast Asian consumers, and recently, the mainland Chinese. A cup of coffee in the olden days that cost little has now shot up in price, and consumers are willing to pay for it, all because of product differentiation. So, a brief view at firms in monopolistic competition reveals that they have to strategize to have good sales. Firms differentiate themselves from others by brand packaging, advertising, promotion, and provision of good customer service. Entry barriers are low in monopolistic competition. It is relatively easy for firms to enter or exit the industry in the long run. There is no total control of resources by other big firms and minimal government regulation.
Perfect competition. What do you remember about perfect competition? I mean, how much do you recognize a perfectly competitive industry when you ran across one? There are 4 main types of characteristics that best describe perfect competition. 1. There are a large number of sellers and there are a large number of buyers too. No individual is large enough to affect the market. The product is homogeneous or identical. For example, sweet potato leaf. When you go to buy sweet potato leaf in the supermarket, what brand do you choose to buy? If you are like me, you will buy whatever on sale. I have no brand loyalty and whatsoever. Because for me, sweet potato leaf is just sweet potato leaf. 3. There is perfect information. It's actually not enough for product to be identical. Everyone has to know that the product is identical, otherwise you will be fooled by things like pretty packaging or celebrity endorsement. In a perfectly competitive industry, firm versus firm advertising is useless. All you'll be doing is driving up your own costs and then customer will just buy it from a cheaper competitor. 4. They have low entry barriers and are able to set up firms easily and quickly. There is no exit barrier and you are free to leave when you feel like it. When profits are made, new firms will be attracted to the industry. When losses are incurred, existing firms can leave the industry. For individual firms owner, combining this fact that this characteristic that he or she will have no power to control the price and will earn zero economic profit in the long run. I choose sweet potato leaf as the example because sweet potato leaf is the most similar product to perfect competition that I can find. The condition of perfect competition can never all be met in the real world. They exist only as theoretical concepts.
A monopoly is a market with only one seller and the nation or the consumers do not have another alternative to purchase the product or service. A monopoly normally arises due to the barrier of entry, which restrains other companies from entering the market and exerting pressure onto the monopolist. A monopolist is also a price maker, which means that they can set the price to earn supernormal profits. The characteristics of a monopoly market are: there will be a single seller, barriers that are so high in fact that no other competitors can enter the industry. Patents are an example of high barriers. Sole ownership of a key resource would be another barrier. For example, TNB controls all the hydroelectric dams and the power grids. It would be very hard for a new company entering the market to meet these barriers. This is because these barriers incur very high costs. Extremely high costs can keep many other producers out of the market. In a case where there are very high fixed costs, economies of scale can start to kick in. When this happens, it is better to have only one producer. If there is only one firm in the market, then the cost to enter the market can be spread over a large quantity of production, and the cost per unit ends up being very low. But if you break this company up, creating 10 smaller firms that would compete with each other, each firm must repeat this initial cost, yet only has 1/10 of the customers in this example, and the cost per unit ends up being very high. Thus, it is more efficient to have only one producer. This would be a natural monopoly.
Oligopoly is a market form in which a market or industry is dominated by a few large firms. The decisions of one firm are influenced by the decision of other firms. There are 4 market conditions for oligopoly. A few sellers control over 70% of market. For example, Petronas is one of the big names in the market alongside Shell Malaysia, Petron Corporation and others. Firms offer identical or differentiated products, therefore advertising is important. For example, Petronas sells products that are similar to their rivals, such as Primax 95 Extra Petrol, Primax 97 Extra Petrol, and Dynamite Diesel. Product information must be easily available. They use informative advertisement, price, quality, and special features to introduce new products. There are huge barriers to entry into the industry. Surviving in an oligopolistic market is tough. They generally compete on price because they lead to price war. Instead, they compete on non-price competition. Examples of this include branding, store loyalty, advertising, innovation, packaging, and free gifts. Price leadership is legal, unlike collusion, because it does not involve any agreement among competitors. When one firm, usually the largest and most powerful in the industry, offers a new product at a certain price, the others then follow because they fear a price war. In other words, oligopolies play the game, follow the leader.
If you look at the chart, these are the comparisons between all 4 characteristics of perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. Now, we're about to compare the number of firms, the type of product, ease of entry, and example of industries. Now, if you look at the number of firms, perfect competition has many, monopolistic competition many, oligopoly few, and monopoly only 1. The type of product, perfect competition identical, monopolistic competition differentiated, oligopoly identical or differentiated, and monopoly unique. The third characteristic, which is ease of entry, perfect competition is high, monopolistic competition also high, oligopoly low, and monopoly entry blocked. Characteristics number 4, example of industries. Perfect competition, let's say wheat, apples. Monopolistic competition would be selling DVDs or restaurants, while oligopolies manufacturing computers, manufacturing automobiles, while monopoly is first-class meal delivery and tap water.